Okay, this next clip I love. This is one of my favorite clips. So back to my wife. One of the things that made her believe you're about to see it. Have to tell a quick story because it's going to make this really awesome.
We don't have too much time, Chad. We
okay,
gotta
I'm going to
hustle.
hustle. Stanley Hotel, built by the guy who built the first Stanley steamer, right? Supposedly the hotel is haunted by him. He built this. He was loaded. He was like the Zuckerberg of his day. He built this literally to breathe cool mountain air because they believed that helped tuberculosis. And he built a hotel so his friends could come play with him, basically, and just mess around out in the mountains. They say if you come across his ghost, that you'll know him by the clicks of his boot heels. Okay? Jesus. So my wife and I and some friends, we used to go out during Christmas, and we would stay there because nobody's in the place at Christmas, and the manager would give us a key to everywhere. The one place I always try to ghost hunt is the place that no one ever goes, because if we believe that a spirit is like us but without the body, if that, they're going to want to get away from people just like we would want to get away from people at times. The one place he said no one's ever investigated is the employee break room. So myself, Laura, and this guy Sid Schultz is down there with me. I'll tell you right now, you're going to hear the boot steps. And what's really cool is the camera turns, and you can see that I'm wearing rubber-soled Vans. He's wearing rubber-soled cross trainers, and Laura's wearing flip-flops. But what happens after that? Remember I said things happen in a row? This is crazy. At first, you're going to hear something slam into, right after the footsteps, you're going to hear something slam into the wall. That's a breakfast table and a chair. Okay, that's just off camera. It slams into the wall. But then something literally just rises up and right in front of the camera and fires out of the room. And if you look, there's a white cable that's hanging down, and when this thing crosses it, it actually blacks out that cable. Okay, so we know it's not just a light. Because if it was a light, it would go to the back wall, and you'd still be able to see the string there. So check this out when this happens, and it freaked Laura the hell out.
The following footage was filmed at the Stanley Hotel, which is famous because Stephen King, while staying in room 217, had a paranormal experience that would inspire King to write The Shining. But in relation to the following footage, what's important is that the Stanley Hotel is said to be haunted by the owner, F.O. Stanley, who after being diagnosed with tuberculosis, built the hotel so he could live a life where he can breathe the cool mountain air of Colorado. While there are countless legends associated with the ghost of F.O. Stanley, after speaking with the manager and a bartender, they both told me that should I cross paths with the ghost of F.O. Stanley, I would know him by the clicks of his boot heels. Keep that in mind as you watch this footage.
So this is us down in the employee break room.
If you're in here, please give us some kind of sign that you are.
And that feeling was thick. It was creepy.
We don't mean you any harm. We're only here to document your presence. We want to show as many people as we can that you're here. We want people to know your story. So please give us a sign.
That just came on.
Where? Did you hear the footsteps? What? Yeah, behind me. Do you hear them? That wasn't you? No. Do you hear them?
Yeah.
That's with me.
Now manifest for us, please.
It's here.
Let us see you.
Did you hear the footsteps? What? Yeah, behind me. Do you hear them? That wasn't you? No.
You can see all of our feet, so there's no, we're not wearing boots.
Footsteps?
Right, that's what I'm showing us.
Behind me. Do you hear them? That wasn't you? No. Did you hear the footsteps? What? Yeah, behind me. Do you hear them? That wasn't you? No.
Well, the footsteps are one thing, but what's really interesting about this clip, if you look, as my camera rises, you'll see a shadow rise, and then it darts across. At first I thought, oh, that's just, some kind of shadow I'm creating. But in slow motion, you see that the shadow is actually rising faster than my camera. It rises up the wall, and then it shoots down the wall. Right after we heard the table and the chair slam into the wall.
Yeah.
That's with me.
Now manifest for us, please.
It's here.
Let us see you.
It moves so smooth, too.
Yeah.
That's with me.
Now manifest for us, please.
It's here.
Let us see you.
Face fuck that ghost?
Face fuck the ghost.
Dude, I think Danny taking your little wee-wee out when that's happening.
Hey, I don't have the little wee-wee, dude.
This is
Taking
where
your
you should do
above average
edibles
wee-wee.
next time, Danny.
Oh my God. Doing edibles in a haunted house?
Dude, we got to do something gnarly.
Okay, give me one more because this is gonna blow
You
your
got
fucking
it.
mind.
You got
okay?
it. Is this the biggest one? This is the big one right here?
It's one of the two big ones I put
Okay.
on here for you. This one's gonna, so remember I said earlier that things happen in succession. Okay, when I first got to Chillingham Castle, you fly from LA all the way to London, then we got picked up right away, 8-hour drive to Chillingham. And by the way, Chillingham Castle, for you Braveheart fans, this is the castle of King Edward Longshanks. That's a real guy who killed William Wallace.
Tortured him. And
Yes, that's a real dude that's really happened. This is his home. He built this castle to torture not only the Scots, but specifically the Scots' children. That's why it was built. It was brutal, man. So I get in at 4 o'clock in the morning. I am so tired. And right away, the guy that, watched over the place, he wants to take us on the history tour then. And I'm sitting here like, God, I wish I had your strength of tongue just going, fuck this. It's 4 a.m., dude. But I was like, okay. I was falling asleep in every room that we went into, man. So I just didn't hear his stories. All right, that's going to be important to understand later when you watch this. So what you're going to see first is a series of audible things that happen. You're going to hear a breath, and then something really awesome is going to happen. You're going to hear a girl that's going to say he's not there, and then you're going to hear a door open. All right, that's the first piece. I included clips 5 and 6 together. Okay. When we go to clip 6, this is when I told you that first investigation I went through to try to capture something. Watch. I thought one thing was happening. Watch how this all plays together. It's mind-blowing. All right, go ahead.
On a few occasions in my career, I've experienced an immense amount of activity in a short amount of time. In the footage you're about to see, that is exactly what happened at Chillingham Castle, as 6 unexplainable events occur within a 15-minute window.
Is right next to that. Yeah. When you go up a few stairs, over that way, there's a rail.
Is that guy the ghost hunter who gets all the chicks?
Just so you know, it's extremely common to check
Leo
with the film
Hank, I
crew
guess.
for confirmation as to what you may have heard or saw, as they're not only another set of eyes and ears, they're a better set of eyes and ears due to the cameras and audio gear. That's exactly what happens here, as Joey hears a disembodied breath and asks our camera operator, "What was that?" In which he lets Joey know, "I heard it, definitely."
A few stairs, over that way, there's a rail. What was that? Yeah, I had it.
John, if you're here, let me know. What the fuck?
That was just a bang right
John,
in
if
front
you're
of us.
here,
That's
let
all
me
it was,
know.
right?
What the fuck?
damn.
He didn't hear
It's all gonna
anything
make
into it.
sense to him after it comes out.
Could have been a little more charming there, Chad, right?
Yeah, what the fuck?
I'm known for this.
You were
Trust me.
scared, though. I get.
So see that? Look, this is crazy. There's just a female voice,
What the fuck?
and then the door opened.
I just did the same thing Chad did.
Yeah, that's great.
That sounds pretty fucking. Oh my
In this sequence of events, I love Mary Beth's expression, as in addition to looking to see what door is opening, knowing that she's the only girl in the room, she also looks directly to her camera operator for confirmation that he also heard the disembodied voice, which sounds as though it came from a young girl with a British accent.
We'll come back to the door.
Not another door.
Was it that?
That's the only door.
That's the only door?
Yeah, there's not one to the outside.
Oh. So it was that door? Yeah.
Keep getting these sounds, like deep breathing sounds, and like these sounds on the pew, like he's sitting next to me.
In this capture, if you listen closely, you'll hear a second voice whisper something directly over my voice, which is great, as it shows that a second entity is speaking in the room that has to be very close to me, as my handheld camera recorded the whisper.
It's fucking. It's fucking. It's fucking.
The following sequence, which was filmed
Okay.
at Chillingham Castle,
So while all that is going on, I'm up just walking through the castle, okay? And I get to this room, and the ghost of John Sage is the ghost that everyone's afraid of in this castle because he was the head torturer, right?
Sick fuck. Huh?
Supposedly, he haunts everywhere but the chapel. I didn't know this because I fell asleep through the walkthrough. Mm-hmm. So I start provoking John to come to the chapel and calling him every name there is and doing all this stuff, not realizing I'm in the chapel. Well, there's a bigger reason why that's an issue. I guess there's another ghost there named Eleanor that's a little girl. She only resides in the chapel. And supposedly, when people come in there, she wants them to leave, and she'll pull the pew cushions off because John Sage follows people. So I'm in this chapel saying, "Come, John Sage." Okay? Now, remember earlier you heard a voice that said he's not there. Mm-hmm. Keep watching all this, and it all makes sense at the end.
Provided
And
me
you
with
picked him
all
to
I
see a
needed
huge piece of
to
evidence.
believe in ghosts. When this segment begins, you will see me in the chapel, in which I'm provoking the spirit of former head torturer John Sage, who is believed to be the ghost of a child rapist and a murderer. After provoking Sage for only a few minutes, something truly incredible was documented.
If you're gonna communicate, John, you better do something definitive. I better know for a fact it's you. To kill kids? Seriously? I don't know how a man was measured in the 12th and 13th century, but I can tell you if you did that today, you would be locked up. You would go to jail. You would become somebody's girlfriend.
Get packed out.
What the fuck? Ah!
No, we'll come back. You'll see what happened. I'm hiding it on purpose for the sake of the movie right now, but you'll see what happens.
I just realized King Croc can't hear this. I'm fucking sorry, King.
I just stood up and I started talking, and the seat pad that I was sitting on came off the pew.
I was genuinely scared, man.
I mean, I would be too.
That thing flew at me
You
with
guys have
velocity.
eyes on
Wait till you
me?
see this.
On the pew?
Yeah,
Did I do that when I stood up with the seat?
we can't tell from here.
I said, but in today's, world, you'd become somebody's bitch. And I looked down, and the entire length of the pew seat is off and falling around my fucking legs.
What do you mean it's off and flying?
Come look at it. Come look at it. Yes, the whole length of the
I
entire
want to be the guy that
seat.
talks shit to the ghost.
That's who you're gonna be. Who else are you gonna be?
That's who you're gonna be.
Yeah,
I'm so
that's who
down.
you're gonna
The
be.
whole thing was moving off. The whole thing.
This has non-skid on the back.
That has non-skid?
Yeah.
Sit down and stand up and actually try to pull it off.
Yeah, no fucking way.
Yeah.
That you have
I mean, just awkwardly trying to pull it off and it's not coming.
Dude, there's no way on earth. I can't take this off if I'm trying.
Yeah.
I can't take this off if I'm trying. We have that DVR footage. You'll see how long I'm talking before anything happens.
It looked like you stood up and were saying something or talking, and then you freak out.
Drag it like that? That's not how it did. It all moved at once.
If you look to the right-hand corner, you're going to see the very end of it. And it comes off with such force, you're going to see it pop up here in the corner. You're going to see the actual seat. And you're also going to notice that when I stand up and start talking, I have one hand on the camera, one hand is in my pocket. I did not touch anything.
If you did that today, you would be locked up. You would go to jail. You would become somebody's girlfriend. What the fuck? Ah! You would go to jail. You would become somebody's girlfriend. What the fuck?
You could hear it sliding. If you watch my body, you can see when it hits me too.
You would go to jail. You would become somebody's girlfriend. What the fuck? Ah!
I mean, it's too much velocity to be anything that you could have done.
He was telling the guy John Sage that he was going to get packed out in prison for what he did. That's literally what he was saying.
Oh, yeah.
And this is him explaining
for a visit.
That the little ghost
They're all
does
on
it.
the floor. They're all on the floor. They've all been pulled off.
Fuck John
That's
Sage.
it's fantastic to actually see it.
To be honest, I was incredibly thankful to see Graham excited by the fact that we documented the pew cushions being thrown. Because the day before, shortly after it happened, he was upset by the fact that I was asking John Sage to come to the chapel, as Graham believes the chapel to be the peaceful home of a child spirit named Eleanor, in which she hides in the chapel to avoid John Sage.
My grandma
Do get pulled off.
Chapel.
They're saying it's a mischievous child. You hear that? Let's say you're dealing with someone. So she's about 10, 12-year-old.
This happens often?
When she's having a tantrum.
Wow. What's her name?
Eleanor.
Eleanor?
Yeah, she probably didn't like you.
Eleanor, I'm sorry. I'm being dead serious. Eleanor, I was really tired last night and I fell asleep a few times. I'm sorry, Eleanor.
With you being in, it's classed as her area. Sorry.
She's pissed.
John Sage. She's not like that.
Once I learned this and reviewed the evidence that we captured from the control room, I was blown away, as without my knowing, there was a much bigger picture that was playing out right before our eyes. If you remember the audio evidence from earlier, at the same time that a side door opened, my team heard a disembodied voice of a young girl who had a British accent saying, "He's not there." Well, only 5 minutes after that happened, the pew cushion was thrown at me.
You would go to jail. You would become somebody's girlfriend. What the fuck?
So if we take Graham at his word and plug in the legend of Eleanor and John Sage, because my team and I are not in radio contact, it would appear as though Eleanor is trying to let my team know that John Sage is not there. He's not in the chapel. That's who I'm calling for. And at the same time, the door opens. That door led to the chapel stairwell.
That's the only door?
Yeah, there's not one to the outside.
Oh. So who's that door?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and stop it for me.
So again,
that's why when people say to me, like, do you believe in ghosts and stuff? It's like the amount of things that would have to happen that are unexplainable for that story to play out.
Yeah.
Come on. You know what I mean? It's like, how
Is
many
this an
things?
afterlife? Is that proof of an afterlife?
Or another dimension.
Or another dimension.
I think I'm much more of a believer in, and I think most of the hardened, studied, investigators that do this really are starting to go more towards the string theory idea, the idea that there's 13 different dimensions, and at times they're clipping each other, and you see them at times. Who knows what determines how long those time periods are? But she doesn't have to be dead for this to happen. She could be in that time period, not knowing what's going on. If you see the movie The Others, great movie. At the end, there's the flip, right?
Yeah.
Same kind of thing. She could be in there, and suddenly a voice comes out, and my voice, and says, "John, get in here," and she could be like, "He's not here."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Damn, poor girl.
But yeah, what's great about this film, like I said, we watched 10, 15 minutes. It's an hour and 26 minutes long, and it's chock full, man. Over an hour of the most intense stuff I've captured all over the world.
It's awesome. It's going to be on Apple TV or everywhere.
Everywhere on September 20th. Right now, you can pre-order it. It's cheaper on iTunes and Apple TV. I'll get you guys a link.
Yeah,
yeah.
sounds awesome,
Yeah.
man.
We'll
And
put
we're
it
going to
in the
go
bio.
this Halloween. I'm going to talk shit to one of the poltergeists.
Fuck yeah.
Leo's going to get sucked by one of the chicks.
Oh, yeah.
And King Croc's going to pack one out.
It's going to be great.
You're going to rape a ghost?
You know
King
what,
Croc?
man? I pray to
Will
God.
you
something
run through the
huge
haunted
happens.
house with a boner? Can we ask him that real quick?
Chad, I pray to.
Is that all right,
would
Chad?
would that offend any paranormal entities?
You running through a house with a boner?
Yeah.
You'd have to ask them, man. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think we should try
It's
it.
good to test. I mean, we'll run some tests.
Yeah.
This is going to be
You know what I'd
good.
love to do
We got to
with
get
you
the infrared
guys?
camera on him.
Yeah.
I would love to do with you
Slaps
guys,
it against the wall.
with all you guys, I would love to do more of the experiment type stuff.
Yeah.
Really crazy shit that we were doing on
I'm
to send you
down.
guys in alone, and because everybody acts tough.
Right.
Until you get them there alone, and you go, okay, you alone. I've done this with friends. I had a friend of mine, well, actually 3 of them, talk so much shit about how, dude, I could do whatever. It ain't real. And I get to Waverly Hills, 180,000 square foot of haunt. 60,000 people died in there. And I'm like, okay, all I want you to do is just go in, walk to the top floor, and come back. That's all you got to do. All 3 of them went home, man. I mean,
Wow.
they experienced shit left and right.
Where's that place?
Oh, the Waverly Hills Sanatorium, Louisville, Kentucky.
Maybe we go there.
We need to bring King Croc wherever the racist ghosts are. That'll stir them up.
Louisville.
Hey,
Probably
they exist. I have stories about that. I have stories about
We gotta
that.
get
They
Nico
exist.
hammered and send him in, dude.
Can we send Nico and Hammered into Louisville's the 60,000?
Hammered, they probably won't let you do that. Most places make you sign contracts saying that you won't.
Well, we'll say we
we'll
won't.
sneak
Then we'll
it,
do it
yeah.
anyway. You know?
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm a professional.
Yeah.